Let's go to the main menu and click Docs. Then go to the far right, click the blue New button, and locate Reading Plan in the menu about halfway down and click it. Now, the Reading Plan is an excellent tool to help you plan out what resources you want to read. Now, Logos gives you three options in the Untitled Reading Plan window. Let's click on the first option, Choose a Predefined Reading Plan. Now, what's nice about this particular option is that Logos has invested some time to kind of jumpstart you on some great topics. But I want to point out a couple interesting items in the list that you may not be aware of. I'm going to scroll down, and the first one that I think is pretty awesome is the chronological Bible reading plan. Let's go ahead and click on this option. Notice that as soon as you click on one option, all the settings here at the top have changed. So we have read the chronological Bible reading plan. Notice we can choose our Bible version. This defaults to New King James, but we can change this to any Bible that we want. So I'm going to type in NASB 95, and I can choose then by clicking on the title, the New American Standard Bible. So you can change the Bible translation instantly. You can choose which days to read. Let's click on every day. Now notice at your own pace, every day, every weekday, and then specify each day. Now, I have noticed over the years of trying to discipline myself to read things that I always should leave a little buffer. So unless you're a super disciplined person, I would leave Sunday and Saturday open and choose the rest of the days. That way, if you fall behind during the week, you have those free days to play catch up. But for this example, let's choose at your own pace. Next, you'll see that to the right of that, we have by yourself. Let's click that. Now, this is pretty neat because you can share your reading plan with other Logos users through the Faith Life groups. We've talked about this in the past. And so any group that you're a part of, you can share this reading plan. For now, let's do by yourself. Now, as you can see, it's not that complicated. We already have a name provided, though if you click the pencil icon or you click on the name, you can change the reading plan if you prefer. Now, let's go ahead and click Start. In a few moments, Logos will generate the reading plan. And as you can see here, we can see the whole plan from day one. And if we actually look through this, it looks like it's a whole year to read the Bible. Now, if you decide you want to make some changes, just click the Edit button. In the list view, you can see all the days of the reading plan. Let's click on Overview. When you click on Overview, you're only seeing the next day of reading. This may be a little bit easier to manage. You can float your mouse over the verse and we'll see a pop-up of the verse. That's pretty handy. Once you've completed your reading for the day, just click the X to check the box. Notice right away in the overview, it goes to day 2. If we click back on list, we can see a check mark next to day 1, letting us know we're completed. Logos has also integrated the reading plan with your calendar. So for the PC, you can export to Outlook. For Mac, you can export to iCal. If we click it, notice the additional options. We can choose the start time and end time. We can have a reminder and even give us a few minutes as a heads up to let us know we need to set aside this time for reading. We can also show our calendar as free or busy. That way, if you're sharing your calendar with other people, they'll know if they can schedule and interrupt your reading time or not schedule because your reading time is busy. Let's go ahead and just leave the settings as they are and click Export. Now, you need to have the desktop Outlook application on your computer in order for this to work. I've gone ahead and opened up Outlook. Now, you notice that Outlook has not taken my calendar. Why is that? And that's because we are using the at your own pace. Now, if we click on Edit and we change at your own pace, let's click on each. Now we can choose specific days. So let's go ahead and choose Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Once all the days are checked, let's click Done. Now let's click on Export to Outlook. We'll leave the settings as they are. Click Export. We can see the exporting has taken place. Once those dots disappear, then we know we can open up Outlook and confirm the calendar. As we can see now, Outlook has been populated not only with the day and time of our reading, but with the specific reading itself. You can see that it says Genesis 1:3, 4 through 7. Let's go ahead and double click just to look more closely at the details of this event. Notice when you double click on it in the PC version of Outlook, it says just this once, which is what we want to do. We'll choose that option. And there you go. Genesis 1:3, there's the time, the chronological reading plan, the name of the plan is given, and so forth. Let's click X and close this window. So Logos' integration into Outlook and iCal is a wonderful way to stay on top of your Bible reading plan. Let's return to Logos by minimizing this window. Now, besides exporting to Outlook, let's click the Home button. And you'll notice that now a new card has appeared, keeping you informed of what the next step in the reading plan is. It also has a completion circle down at the bottom to let you know your progress in your reading plan. Let's click the Home button again and toggle back to our original plan. Let's click on Docs, let's click on New, and let's click on Reading Plan. So we've already done the first one, choose a predefined plan. Let's choose the second option, Generate a Reading Plan. Now, as you can see, this is defaulting to a Bible reading plan. We can change the name again by clicking on the name or the pencil icon. We can choose all passages, or we can click that and actually choose a different range of verses. Now, I want you to notice that if you're doing a straight range, just let's say Genesis through Revelation, you separate those with a hyphen. But if you want to do individual books, you separate those with a pipe icon. You can see the pop-up here and how we have Psalm, Proverbs, Luke, Acts, Romans, and James, and we separate each of those with a pipe. So we can select and skip different books of the Bible. So be aware of those options. But for now, let's leave the default all passages. Now we can click by default, and notice we have default chapter and pericope. This is just to help the plan be smoothed out. I think default is fine, but you may want to choose chapter if the breaks aren't really ideal. Then we can choose the Bible translation, but notice when we click that, we get access to the whole library. So essentially, you could use this as a conduit to read other books in your library. But for now, let's just choose the Bible. And then we have the time interval, so let's click on today, and we can choose when we're going to start reading the plan. This is key. So this is your start date. And then we can go to finishing in 1 year. So now we're choosing the finishing date. Notice when we click on in 1 year, we have some additional options. 6 months, we can number the weeks, number the sessions, even get down to the verses we want to do per day, or choose a simple end date. Let's leave this default to 1 year. And then once again, we can choose to do this reading plan with ourselves or others in groups with Faith Life. Let's go ahead and click Start to generate the reading plan. Now, as you can see, the reading plan has started, and now we have a complete list from Genesis, and if we scroll all the way to the bottom, through Revelation. So this will take us roughly 1 year. And like before, we can click Edit to change the options. We can check the box to show that we've completed the plan for that day, and we have the various views. Let's create one more plan. So let's click Docs, then click New, and once again, click Reading Plan. This time, let's choose Custom Reading Plan. Now, this is a different interface, and you need to be aware how it works. So right away, we want to name the plan. So let's call this My Reading Plan. And again, you can click on the pencil icon or click on the title. Now, notice the options. Add a reading session to today. Then below that, we have drop a shortcut or type in a reference. Then below that, we have read starting today and by yourself. Now, what kind of shortcuts can we drop in here? Well, if we click the library icon and we take a book and drag it on there, Logos will not receive that shortcut. So I'm going to go ahead and press Escape. So what can you do? Well, let me demonstrate. I'm going to click on the NASB Bible shortcut on my shortcut toolbar. I'm currently at Ephesians 6:7. I'm going to left click and drag that right onto shortcut. And look at that. The specific verse has been added here. We can delete it by clicking on the X in the red circle. If we go to the very beginning of the book, let me do that. I'm going to open the table of contents, go right to the title page, and we have really no information in our Bible reference box, and we try to drag that over, the reading plan will not accept it. Let's press Escape to make that go away. And if we put in, let's say, Genesis through Exodus as a range, and drag that over to the drag a shortcut here, it will take that full range. So be aware when it comes to Bibles how to do that. But let's open up a regular book with page numbers and one that doesn't have Bible verses. So I'm going to click on the library icon, In the box, I'm going to type in type:"theology" so I can get a list of my systematic theology books. I'm going to choose Biblical Doctrine, A Systematic Summary of Bible Truth by John MacArthur and Dr. Richard Mayhew. So I'm going to click on that book, open it up, and I'm going to left click and drag that over to the right. Now, right now we're at page 26. So if I left click on the tab, in theory, when I release it on the drop a shortcut here, it should show me page 26 as expected. Now we can click in the page range and put, let's say, 1 through 100 and press enter. In this case, it went to page 5 because that's the smallest page number in this book. Now we can left click, drag that over to the shortcut, and now we got 5 through 100. So you can control your page number through there. Now notice you have an additional option, choose an open resource. Pretty straightforward. You click it, you'll see where you're located in that book, and then you can click the option and it will add it to the reading plan. So we'll click that one, and there's Genesis 1, 2 through 3 for the New King James Version Bible. Now, the reason you're seeing the New King James and not the New American Standard is that New King James is my default Bible. Now, let's do this. Type in a reference. We click that box, and we can put in, let's say, John 3:16. We can click the drop-down menu, and now it's been added. Now, at this point, all we've done is we've put together a plan. Now, if you float your mouse over each one, we can click the X in the red circle and delete elements from within the reading plan. Once we say, yep, this is what I want to read, then we click Add Session, and that'll move the content down to the reading plan below, and now you can continue to build your reading plan. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is a lot of work to customize, so you better have a good reason to make all this effort to customize your reading plan. I think the other two approaches are a whole lot easier, but using the verse range box or the index box by putting your range of chapters, that can expedite it a little bit. Notice the additional option up here at the top, Add. And if we click that, you can see we can add another reading plan, a passage list, and even a clippings document. That's a pretty powerful option. Let's go ahead and do that. Add a clippings document. So now the clippings documents have opened it, and I'm just going to choose anger. Notice that all the information from my clippings has been added. So let's go ahead and open up that clippings document. So document, we'll click clippings at the left. We'll type in anger to search and find this one. There it is. We'll click it. And let's compare to what our clippings document looks like and what was added to our reading plan. So here it says Anger of God, NTBI, Nelson's Topical Bible Index. So there's the Anger of God text. And if we click the link, it took us here to the Anger of God. I'll click the X and close this tab. Let's click on the link in my reading plan. And sure enough, it took us to the same location. So essentially what's going on is the link that's back to the resource in your clippings document is what gets carried over to the reading plan. So there's a tight integration there. Very useful. Let's click the 3 dots at the top right of our reading plan. And you can see you can print and export this. Let's go ahead and do that. So we click print and export. And what do we have? Just our reading plan. Let's click the X at the top right to close this window. So as you can see, Logos is highly customizable when it comes to reading plans, and you can export it and integrate it to your Outlook or iCal calendar programs. This concludes an overview of the reading plan document.